Happy Wednesday, August 30th. Hard to believe we are in the middle of the final week of August, but today is Business Wednesday. I'm your host, Kimberly Pro. We've got quite an exciting show. If you are looking to increase your professional knowledge or grow your network or your career, we've got the show for you this morning. We'll be talking to Bill Humbert, talent acquisition expert. If you're looking for the job search, he'll be the one to give you all of the pointers. Emily Gross, also in talent acquisition. She'll tell you what she typically looks for. And then Adventures in Coaching. Good Morning Vail starts now.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Here at Sun and Ski Sports, we are all about having the best summer adventures. Our full-service bike shop is here to help you get back on the saddle with services ranging from simple tire changes, full bike overhauls, and rentals. If trail running, hiking, or trips to the lake are your thing, our expert staff will fit you in the best performing footwear or clothing. And don't forget about a relaxing day on the water with our stand-up paddleboard rentals. Call Sun and Ski Sports in Avon or Dillon today or learn more at sunandski.com/CO.
Hi, it's Julio from TV8 Vail. Do you ever wonder why our tagline is "There's more for you on 92"? Because we're always bringing you more. More Good Morning Vail from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. all year long. More local coverage with Vail Vibes and Covered Bridge on TV8. More opportunities to participate with new roundtable panels on mountain perspectives and our new Spanish programming block coming this fall. Find us on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92, on YouTube, or our website at tv8vail.com.
Thank you for watching Good Morning Vail. Have an amazing day. Get on out there, soak up that sunshine. We'll see you tomorrow right here for more Good Morning Vail. Bye, everyone. Hi, I'm Gretchen Bleshaw. You might recognize me from the Glitz and Glam with Gretchen. Maybe you hear my voice on the radio from time to time or see me out at a concert or two. I love concerts. If you see me out, the long mermaid hair, I'm almost 6 foot tall. It's hard to miss. Come and say hi, give me a high five, and make sure to watch me right here on TV8.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Now, on this next segment, we love the recruiter guy. Bill Humbert comes on our show on a regular basis to talk about all things in the job search. So let's take a look at how we can look at recruiting from a different perspective.
We're joined now by Bill Humbert, the recruiter guy, who's going to share with us some incredible perspectives on the job search. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Ben, thank you so much. You know, it's great to be here and talking about recruiting from a different perspective. And in my 40 years of professional talent attraction as a recruiter, my experience has been that most hiring managers have never been taught how to interview effectively, and they especially haven't been taught how to sell a candidate on a position. And over the past month, I was in South Africa. I was speaking there to a company, and I rented a car from the airport, and I drove on the other side of the road for the first time. What an experience. And I did pretty well, except for one thing. Every time I turned on the turn signal, I turned on the windshield washer, because I'm sitting on the other side of the car now, and the controls are on opposite sides. The turn signals are over here, the windshield washer is over here, and I'd turn on the windshield washers. But the good news is my windshields were clean by the time I got to the hotel.
I feel like that, having the sticks on the opposite side, would probably screw me up even more than being on the wrong side of the car.
Yeah, it's true, because when you're in traffic, it's easy. You're just following a line of cars. Doesn't matter what side of the road you're on.
Well, but I would imagine that kind of got you thinking a little bit about different perspectives on the same situation. And I know that both recruiters and potential candidates and hiring managers are all kind of approaching the job search from a different perspective.
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about those different perspectives that those different parties might have and how we can kind of all meet in the middle.
There you go. Well, so managers typically, in my experience, they want to interview a candidate, spend no more than a half hour, and find out if that candidate has the right skills, the right experience to be successful in the position. The candidates, on the other hand, are trying to determine, is this a place where I want to work? Is this a manager that I want to work for? Is this a job that I want to do? And sometimes they kind of get left out of that. The recruiter, if it's a professional recruiter as opposed to an HR recruiter, the recruiter is a sales professional. And what's really interesting is that as a recruiter, I have no control over when the sale is consummated, because it's between the manager and the candidate, and I find out afterwards what happened.
So let me ask you this then. If I'm the hiring manager or I'm the recruiter and I'm really trying to figure out if this is going to be a good fit for my candidate, what are some questions that you would suggest asking to kind of help frame the conversation in a way to help figure out if everybody's going to be a good fit together?
What most candidates hear is that companies are only interested if they're a fit. They love it when a manager asks them, what are you looking for in your next position? Or what is your favorite management style? And it's a great question to ask, why are you interested in our company? And those responses can tell a manager fairly quickly if they're a good fit. For instance, if the manager is a top down, stand over your shoulder, watch what you do every time you do it, and the candidate says, hey, I really like a manager who builds consensus and makes it this, helps me, allows me to make decisions with them. Well, that's a bad match, and it's better to know it up front, right? Than to wait and the person get there, hate their job for however long they stay, and then bail out.
Well, because that could be a waste of time on everybody's part, right? Both the employee and the employer. If we're just not a good fit and we end up spending, 3 months, 6 months, or even a couple of years just kind of rubbing each other the wrong way, not working well together, that can be a big challenge for everybody. So,
absolutely. It takes 6 months to learn a job.
Something that I was thinking of a little bit earlier was if I was looking for a job, something that I would expect that a lot of people who are searching for jobs do, and it's something that I've understood to be a little bit of the common practice, common knowledge, if you will, that a lot of what the interviewee is trying to do is just say the things that the potential hirer is looking to hear. And it sounds to me like that's something that you would recommend against. And trying to make sure that you're actually looking for a career that is a good fit, not just somebody that's going to pay you in the short term.
Well, that's true. You do have to structure your responses to the manager's questions in a way, because recruiting mirrors the sales process perfectly, step by step, line by line, and the career search mirrors the sales process perfectly, step by step, line by line. So it's important that when the manager asks the question, you respond truthfully with a response that demonstrates A, your interest, and B, that you have the skills to get the job done.
So going back to that question about a top-down management style versus a consensus management style, if we were in that sort of environment where I don't have a top-down management style, but I'm searching for a job where that is pretty prevalent, are there any tips that you would recommend to kind of help navigate that sort of an issue, navigate that environment, or maybe help us to change our perspective on how we respond to those questions? Or how those questions are asked?
Right. Well, it depends on the manager's style. The manager will pretty quickly during an interview, even if they don't ask the questions, they'll demonstrate their style. And people who are, if you're empathetic, and I'm very empathetic, if you're empathetic, you can tell pretty quickly if this is a good match or not. And so from a candidate perspective, it's good to come in there and be sensitive to what the manager is saying and the way they're saying it. And that will help them determine if it's a good manager, employee, direct report type style.
Well, and so it sounds a little bit to me like if I was the manager on this conversation, you're recommending a little bit more of a searching more with your questions for how that employee works and how that employee is going to fit within both the company culture and the skill set we require. But it sounds to me like you're suggesting that hiring managers don't focus quite so heavily on the skill set and a little bit more on how everybody fits together.
I think that they really do focus on the skill set. I think what they're missing is asking the questions that will help them sell the position to the candidate. And I had one candidate one time that I called with an offer, and he went, "She liked me?" I didn't even get that impression at all. And so that's a bad thing when that happens. And so managers have to when they've decided that they like the candidate, they just need to switch and say, let's talk a little bit more about you and what you like in a position. And let's check and make sure that this is a good fit for you too. Well, by doing that, you're opening your sales door and you're getting them to start talking about what they want in a position. And if the company offers that, you get excited. Wow, this is exactly the way we are here. You'd be a great fit.
Awesome. So it sounds, if I was to sum things up a little bit, I would take away from this conversation that we've been having that we're both, as an employee looking for a new job and a potential employer, that we should approach that conversation more as if we're trying to sell people on the benefits of the job or sell people on the benefits of us as an employee, and how those two things can fit together really well to create that harmonious work environment. I mean, it's going to be both positive and efficient for us, for our employer, or for our employees, depending on what side of that conversation we're on. So do you have any other little tips or tricks that can help kind of bridge that gap between the needs of the employer and the needs of the employee?
I think it's just the main job for both sides, the employee and the manager, is to listen. And so often I've seen managers, when they've asked me to help them learn more about interviewing and just sat in on interviews, I've seen them go through a list of questions that somebody gave them without even listening to the manager asked a question about, how did you handle conflict? And then they're looking down at the next one while the candidate said, well, it was easy. I took a gun out and I shot that person. And then they totally didn't hear it, and I'm sitting in my chair going, oh my goodness. And that part never happened, but that's, the extreme. So it's important to listen on both sides. The manager needs to listen to the responses to understand what the candidate is thinking and saying and feeling. And the candidate also has to do the same thing.
Well, and it sounds to me like that can be something that's pretty difficult to keep in our minds at the moment, especially in an interview type of situation, that can be a little bit stressful. And in a stressful environment, it can be hard to slow down enough to think about things and to really kind of process what's going on and to listen to the other people we're in conversation with. But I think we're going to have to bring you on another time, Bill, to kind of talk about how we can create a little bit more of a friendly and calm environment in that interview setting. Thank you so much for joining us. And if we need any more information, how can we contact you?
I'm really easy. I'm recruiterguy.com. And if anybody wants to talk to me, any companies want to talk to me, just go to recruiterguy.com and then click on the red Speak with Bill button and get on my calendar, and we can have a nice conversation and we'll charge you.
Well, fantastic, Bill. And then one last thing. Rumor has it you got a book?
Oh, Expect Success, The Science of the Over 50 Career Search. And I love that book. It got a 5-star review. My professors up in heaven are going, Humbert got a 5-star review? Holy cow.
Well, fantastic. Bill Humbert, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Vail.
TV8 Vail is serving the community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Stop by for Good Morning Vail at 7 a.m. and stay all day for lifestyle favorites such as Good Day Vail, Daily Flash, Suki and Scott, and more. And you're sure to find the adventure you crave with back-to-back episodes of Scoreboard Nation and Outdoor America. Find us all day, every day on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92, on TV8Vail.com, and on all our social media platforms. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Nap Harvest, your local marketplace for fresh, locally produced products. Our indoor farmers market is open 7 days a week, featuring locally grown organic produce, prepared meals, honey from our Nap Nectar hive, furniture, cutting boards, and much more. We source and sell locally grown and produced products from the Vail and Roaring Fork Valleys. Visit us at our new location in Eagle Ranch, 717 Sylvan Lake Road, next door to Color Coffee Roasters.
Hi there, I just wanted to take a moment and introduce myself. My name is Avisha Scarborough, and I'm the host of Vail Vibes, a show about all the amazing stuff going on here in Vail and surrounding areas I'm going to tell you all about so you don't miss a thing. And I just want to say that I love being part of this community, and it's an amazing place to be.
Do you love the outdoor lifestyle? Make sure you tune in every day at 8 p.m. to catch Scoreboard Nation. It's an outdoor lifestyle show dedicated to your 3 favorite mountain towns, Vail Beaver Creek, Park City, and Reno Tahoe. Join us for an incredible venture. Find us on TV8 Vail, Park City Television, or at thescoreboardnation.com. We can't wait to see you there.
In America's heartland, living close to the land, there's a love for the country and a pride in the brand. In America's heartland, living close to the land. In America's heartland, close to the land.
Good morning, Vail.
And we are back. One of the things that I love about Good Morning Vail is that we believe in community and supporting each other. I had an excellent conversation with a good friend of mine and business professional, Emily Gross, who talks all about the talent acquisition search and what she looks for with tips and tricks on how to update your resume. Let's have a look at that conversation. Welcome back to our show. Now, I am so excited because I have a wonderful personal friend and professional friend as well joining me on the couch. We have some excellent business tips and tricks and how to land the perfect interview and present yourself best. Joining me today on the couch is talent acquisition manager and business consultant, Emily Gross. Hi. How are you, Emily?
I am so thrilled to be here with my dear friend Kim and hopefully share some helpful tips today.
Yeah, I think you are, what you do is very successful. And so you're a talent acquisition manager. Tell me a little bit about what that means.
Yeah, so I manage a team of recruiters. I absolutely love recruiting, talent acquisition. I'm super passionate about people finding career fulfillment, and that all starts with your journey in the job hunt.
Yeah, so you manage a team of recruiters, but you obviously started at the ground level. So
Yes.
as a recruiter, what are things that you typically look for when you start with screening candidates?
Absolutely. This is really your chance as a candidate to get out there, tell your story, be your own brand. And I always say, go out there and get what you want. You know what I mean? Think about opportunities that you want. Look for them online. There's lots of different ways to search for them and go after it. This is a chance to really get the right match for you.
Well, things have definitely changed on the job search. So you are no longer confined to just your local city because there are remote jobs and jobs nationwide. So tell me about how you would go about looking for a job all over the U.S.
Yeah, I actually think this is super exciting because we are no longer limited to our geo area of when we're looking for our next opportunity. You can actually go into many of the job search platforms, LinkedIn, Indeed, and change that location to remote. It's going to pull up all the remote opportunities, and that opens you up essentially to the entire U.S. So lots of opportunities out there.
Absolutely. So as a candidate or a job seeker, what would you recommend as the first steps? What's the first thing that I should do as I begin my job search?
Absolutely. There's a few things. So I would definitely start with your resume. And resumes traditionally have been listing your titles, the companies, and then job responsibilities and duties. Let's switch that up to actual accomplishments, things that you have accomplished, and make them as measurable as possible. So as quantitative as possible, increase 20% of sales within 6 months, started a new project, launched this, hosted this event on this date, just so we can really be enticed to talk to you more. Also your LinkedIn page, that's your chance to also put a professional photo up there to show a little bit more of your opportunity, a little bit more of your personality. So there's lots of different ways to entice people to want to talk to you more, and that's really the goal with the first step.
I think nowadays LinkedIn is almost everything. It's the professional version of social media, and we're all on our phones all the time. So having interactive things is really interesting.
It's amazing because now you can actually send direct messages to companies that I say, like you have a company crush or a crush on a potential job opportunity. You can just send them a message and express your enthusiasm for their company. If there is a company that you really like or a job opportunity, do some research, see their recent press. Have they had any recent milestones as a company, any accomplishments? Put that into a message and really show your enthusiasm and that you care, you're up to date. That's a way to really stand out.
Okay, so you've secured the first interview. Tell me a little bit about how to prepare for that.
Yes. Also in today's world, there are different platforms and different ways that interviews can be conducted. Anything from a phone interview to a video interview to an in-person interview. With the video interviews, some people can be kind of new to this. Really take your time to prepare for these. Make sure you're in a quiet, professional space with no distractions. Make sure that your background is clean, neat, and as simple as possible. We don't want any distractions. Also, make sure your Wi-Fi connection is very secure, that you have tested whatever platform that they have asked you to use. There's HireVue, there's Spark Hire. All of those have tutorials and sample interviews that you can do on your own on their websites. Highly recommend that you do that so that when you go into the interview, the tech stuff, you got it down. Now you're just focused on showing that personality and sharing all those accomplishments.
And then there's the classic Zoom, which we love to use here on TV8. Absolutely. So you've got the interview, your technology is great, lighting is good, and you want to make sure that it's facing you like we do here.
Spotlight is on you. You're going to want that spotlight on you, not coming from behind. So it sounds simple, but trust me, it's really going to make you look really professional and really good.
So what advice would you give when in the middle of the interview? What kind of information should you share? Are there follow-up questions? Tell me more about that.
Yes, absolutely. I would recommend anyone before they're starting an interview to definitely think about their career, think about those specific examples that you've had in your career and write those down, because when they ask you questions such as, how are you at overcoming challenges in the workplace? Stay away from saying language like, well, I usually or I always, and give them a specific example of a challenge that you faced. Where were you working? What were the challenges? What did you specifically do? And then don't forget, what was that outcome? Giving specific examples is really what they're looking for. Whenever I hear that a candidate was not selected, the feedback I most hear is that they weren't specific enough. So prepare all that ahead of time so all your stories are on the tip of your tongue, ready to share.
So how would you advise on preparation? Like, what would you do? How do you figure out, okay, what are the things that I can add to this potential opportunity?
Yeah, definitely do your research, like I said, on the company, on the person that is interviewing you. Usually they send you their name. Check out their LinkedIn, just some general information so you can know a little bit more about them and how to connect with them during the interview, because that's an important part as well. And yeah, just express your enthusiasm, ask questions. I always say they usually close the interview with, do you have any questions for us? Always have one prepared, because it's very easy to not be able to come up with one after you just completed an interview. And showing that you have a question is, again, showing your interest. You've got the wheels turning. You're thinking about joining the company. And so always have a question prepared at the end.
Okay, great. I love to ask questions, which is why I sit here. So what kind of questions would you advise? You mentioned to be prepared and know about the company, but what's a really good follow-up question?
Sure. I mean, you can ask a company how much they plan on scaling within the next 6 months. What are their plans for this role? Does this role plan to have a team around it eventually? Do they have any new products coming out, new services? I mean, it depends on the industry, but just ask them about their upcoming plans, or maybe do your research and say, I saw a little bit that you guys are planning on doing this, would love to hear more. So again, showing that you did your due diligence and showing your interest.
And then you can always ask about the position itself. What are the expectations there? That's a fail-safe interview question. I know
Absolutely.
I've used it plenty of times
That's a great one.
in my job searches in the past. So Emily, what would you advise? Where can we go to find more resources on how to update a resume, how to interview? What else would you say?
Yeah, well, there's a ton online, and thank goodness for YouTube and all that stuff. But anyone's welcome to reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. My name is Emily Gross. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have. But it's a really exciting time when you're starting your job hunt.
Well, Emily, you are wonderful. I love having you here on the couch. I think your energy is so contagious, and obviously really good at what you do. So if you have any last advice, what's that one thing you would tell a candidate?
I would say really don't be afraid to show your enthusiasm. Companies want to hire people that want to be there. That is going to be worth their investment in you because you're more likely to stay for longer. Even if someone's super qualified but they're not acting very interested in the role, they haven't done their research, they're not prepared, that doesn't look like a great investment for the company. So don't be afraid to show that enthusiasm.
So oftentimes enthusiasm wins the job.
So it can.
Awesome. Well, Emily, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise. We appreciate you being here on the show.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Now, stay tuned. We have a lot more in store, so we'll be right back after this.
Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Familia, estamos muy emocionados de por fin presentarles nuestro nuevo programa completamente en español, Conexión Latina, que se estrena este lunes 21 de agosto a partir de las 7 de la tarde. Por el momento, el programa se transmitirá los lunes, miércoles y viernes de 7 a 7 y media de la tarde, con una repetición de 7 y media a 8, así que no hay excusas para perdértelo. Te recuerdo que puedes sintonizar nuestra programación a través del canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página web tva.com y nuestra página de Facebook TVA Conexión Latina. Acompáñanos en esta nueva aventura llena de información y entretenimiento local. No te lo pierdas.
Well, Archer and I are going to get headed on further down the trail, but I hope you'll catch up with us a little bit later. Hi, I'm Ben Roof, and I'm one of the new hosts here at TV8. I'm so excited to share all of my explorations throughout the Vail Valley with my dog Archer, where we'll be taking you to hiking trails, biking trails, maybe we'll go rafting, fishing, or whatever else we can come up with. I'm so excited to share all of that with you in my new segment, Outdoor Adventures. Don't forget to catch up with us every day right here at TV8 Vail or at tv8vail.com because there's always more for you on 92.
Do you have an interesting hobby or skill you'd like to share for Vail Valley? We want to hear from you. We're looking for people to share their musical, artistic, culinary, woodworking, athletic, or technical talents on Good Morning Vail. If you'd like to share your talents with the community, email Danielle at tva8vail.com. Join the community conversation. There's more for you on 92.
Experience the beauty of fall on the rails of the Leadville Railroad. Take in the cool mountain breeze as you climb to 11,000 feet to watch the vibrant reds, oranges, and golds of fall come alive. Enjoy delicious hot beverages, learn some history, and relax with family and friends. Even your pets can enjoy a ride on the train. Offering daily trips, the weekend specials sell out fast. To secure your seat, book today at leadvillerailroad.com.
Good morning, Vail.
You've tuned into Good Morning Vail, and now one of the things that I think is so important is that as adults we don't really lean into coaching. And what is coaching and how can that help you, whether it's personal and professional? Let's have a look at a conversation that may spark your interest in this area.
Welcome to TV8's newest segment. It's called Adventures in Coaching, and it's here to help you grow personally and professionally. And we've got Kim Smith, the expert, joining us. Kim, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk to you about all of this.
I'm excited to have you here only because I think powerful women are my most favorite thing, and you are definitely a force to be reckoned with here in our community. So I'm very excited to have you.
Thank you.
Now, let's just dive right into it because we've got a lot of things that we're going to cover over the expansion of some time here on the couch. And so my first question is, what is coaching?
That is a great question, Maddie. And, you know, a lot of people, I think, are confused a little bit about that. And I just want to clarify that what it's not therapy, it's not advice, and it's not sports coaching, although we do take a lot of things from sports coaching. In other words, really trying to push you beyond maybe your limits and to set goals and to hold you accountable to, you know, what you decide is important to you.
Which I think a lot of people in certain areas start to struggle with. And so what is your story and how did you get into coaching?
Yeah, that's a great question also. You know, for me, it really came naturally. I was always, even as a young person, really trying to help people and interested in helping, you know, them improve their lives. And I had a long career in marketing and sales, and I worked in on the agency side of things, and in the snow sports industry, and then in tourism. And all the while, I had this like small voice in my head that kept saying, you know, you really want to help people more. How do you get out there and do that? And you know, while I was loving my career and I had climbed the ladder, so to speak, and had a lot of accomplishments, there were things that just started to, you know, resonate with me outside of those careers, and really getting into helping people was one of those things that just kept bubbling up and saying, you know, why don't you go ahead and take a leap of faith and do this? And so I finally decided to leave my career and get certified in coaching. And I had a couple of iterations as I went through all of that, and I'm now doing that full time, and I'm absolutely loving it. And it's really where I get, you know, my joy and my purpose is around helping others to really reach their potential.
Which is so cool because you hear of these people that are empaths and they spend their time filling other people's cup in order to fill their own cup, and it sounds like you get the pleasure of doing that in your career. And because you spent so much time in this corporate world, you also have this kind of mindset of how you can help people grow professionally.
Exactly. And yes, it does fill my cup helping others and seeing their process and witnessing change and helping to empower people and enable people to do that is just huge. And I really focus on people working on their careers and with leaders within businesses and teams within businesses themselves, and working with trying to really identify, you know, what that person's purpose is, or a team purpose, and finding out the ways to get there, as well as removing roadblocks that might be getting in the way of their success.
I think it's so important that people take the time to realize that they need that little bit of extra motivation, and this coaching is something that can help them successfully push themselves through that almost like writer's block that we come across in our lives and in our careers. And so you've been doing this for quite some time. What are some of the challenges that you've heard clients complain about?
And that's, yeah, I love what you said, that analogy. You know, people come to me because they are maybe feeling stuck in what they want to do. Maybe they've had an idea germinating in their head for a long time. They just don't know how to get it from here to, you know, there and then move it forward. And I think that's pretty normal. A lot of us have ideas and think like, oh, I want to do this. I want to work on my career. I maybe want to go into an entrepreneurial business. How do I get there? And rather than just continually, you know, ruminating about it, a coach will really help you pull that out, figure out what's important, how do we take those next steps, and what do those look like, and then how can you hold yourself accountable? And a coach will help hold you accountable to those goals that you've set up.
Which I think is something that so many people lack, the discipline of taking the things from their brain, putting them on paper, and then executing them.
Yeah.
I know that I really struggle with that in certain areas of my life, and so just to have that little bit of extra motivation helps so much. Now, as people are starting to kind of get a coach and work through these processes, what are some of the things that they can expect from the coach?
So first of all, I really, I'll do an intake, so to speak, to, or discovery, whatever we want to call it, but looking at, what is going on and where do you think you want to go? And oftentimes what happens through the process is we find out that what you think you might want to do isn't really aligned with your purpose and what what will really make you successful. So I'll usually take a step back at that point and look at, what is that person's purpose? Have they ever decided what that is, or have they ever clarified that for themselves? Because that can be your foundation. And we'll go into purpose a little bit more in another segment, but that's really, I like to start there and kind of dig around. And, I was saying that, it's not so much about looking at your past, but oftentimes there are things in our past that are holding us back from success. Maybe, we don't really know why they're there, or they're a limiting belief. You might have heard that term, limiting beliefs, or little gremlins that are saying, oh, I'm not good enough, or I've got self-doubt around this.
Those mean voices in your head that sometimes you got to work towards shutting off.
Yeah, and so those come up inevitably with everybody I work with. And so we do take a look at that and try to, create the courage to walk through a lot of those fears, or, real, or maybe they're made up fears. Maybe something really did happen in the past that we need to look at. But whatever it is, that's always been a part of, or that will be a part of the conversation.
Now, as people are starting to get interested in getting a coach, what's the time frame like when you guys start working together to when you can kind of execute this plan to move forward?
I like to say that about a 9-week session, or group of sessions, is where you really start to see progress. So if somebody says, oh, I'm going to go to a coach 1 or 2 times, oh, it didn't work, I'm moving on. It's like you've got to give it some time, because more and more things will be revealed as you're working through things. It's not just a one and done. That being said, I don't look at coaching as, like sometimes therapists, work with somebody for years and years. This is more short term. We want to try to get those results and move you forward quickly.
And seeing a coach is like dating someone. You can't just go on 2 dates and be like, this isn't for me. You have to spend some time to get to know them, because you do have to set those boundaries and really learn each other and how you guys work well with each other. It's like forming a whole new relationship.
It really is. It really is. And it's amazing, like the first time people tend to really not want to talk too much, or they don't know what to talk about. But that's my job, to start really pulling that out of the person, make them feel comfortable, and figure out, where they really want to go and why.
Now, as you are bringing in new clients, who is it that you work with?
So I call myself a career and business success coach. So I work with people that are working on their careers, looking to make change. Maybe there's a transition that they want to go to another business and they don't know what that industry is, or they want to grow within their own organization. And I also work with businesses that are, maybe they have leaders inside the organization that, they would like to have coached, as well as teams to develop synergy amongst that team to be able to move that team forward based on their purpose and their goals and desires. So,
which I think is so cool. It's like having one of those group projects in school where maybe someone feels like they have to pull a majority of the weight. To have someone like you come in and then delegate a little bit more clearly and bring that team together to work better together so that everything just can start to roll forward is really cool. Now, as you're kind of coaching these teams, do you feel like you ever have any challenges with a larger group of people?
Oh, absolutely, because there's always 1 or 2 people that are like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. And, they've got their body language, arms crossed, and they're not sure that, why they're there. And, I can, when I'm working with groups or teams, I will coach people individually, with the whole team. And sometimes I'll just have to pull them aside and say, hey, what's going on for you? And, I really try to meet people where they are at and figure out what's going on for them. Because ideally with a team, you want to get everybody on the same page. But yeah, there's people that we're humans, right? We're going to bring our stuff, everything that we have from our whole life, into work, into our business. So, yeah.
I mean, I think what you do is so incredible, and I also think that it's always those people that you see that are so closed off that eventually come around, and they're the ones who benefit the most because you totally change their perspectives on from where they started to where they are in your sessions.
Right. And I think that's a really good point there, because coaching, a lot of it is about reframing a situation. And instead of being like, oh, poor me, this has happened, or I'm not happy with this, or whatever, looking at it from different points of view can help you look at the opportunity versus the problem.
Which I think that perspective shift is probably one of the largest benefits from getting a coach. And so now, as we're talking about benefits of coaching, what are some of the other ones that people can expect from kind of going through this tribulation with you?
I would definitely say, determining what your purpose is, your why, your reason for being, finding out like what it is that you want to do, and, how can you bring that purpose into your workplace or into your life, and it's really, a matter of kind of going through some of those things, but also getting results. I mean, ultimately, coaching is about getting results and taking action, moving you forward, and holding you accountable. So I can't, everybody's journey is different. That's why I call it Adventures in Coaching. It's an adventure. There's never a straight line from like what you think is in here to your final goal. You're always going to be zigzagging and finding different ways. And I think some people think that it's like, oh, one straight shot, but it's important to know that, it does take some time, and to give yourself permission to explore a little bit over here if you think that that's interesting, or maybe this didn't work out exactly as you thought. So what is it, and how do we get back on track?
I think these are all such great benefits that people could really use in their day-to-day life, but also in their personal and professional development. Now, we're going to do a few of these sessions, so what other things can we expect from Adventures in Coaching?
So coming up next is we're going to be talking about purpose and mission and why that's so important. I'll be talking about leadership skills, women in business and the challenges that women have in business. Some things around communication, emotional intelligence, and just, figuring out like how to set goals and how do you really hold yourself accountable to those goals. So those are just a few of the things we'll be talking about.
Kim, I'm so excited to continue to spend time with you so I can keep learning from you just from sitting here. I think what you do is so incredible. And like I said earlier, I think you are a force to be reckoned with.
Thank you. It's fantastic to be here. I really appreciate it.
Make sure that you continue to stay tuned, as we are going to continue our adventures in coaching, only because we're here to help you with your personal and your professional development. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
Good morning, Vail.
Nap Harvest, your local marketplace for fresh, locally produced products. Our indoor farmers market is open 7 days a week, featuring locally grown organic produce, prepared meals, honey from our Nap Nectar hive, furniture, cutting boards, and much more. We source and sell locally grown and produced products from the Vail and Roaring Fork Valleys. Visit us at our new location in Eagle Ranch, 717 Sylvan Lake Road, next door to Color Coffee Roasters.
Do you have an interesting hobby or skill you'd like to share for Vail Valley? We want to hear from you. We're looking for people to share their musical, artistic, culinary, woodworking, athletic, or technical talents on Good Morning Vail. If you'd like to share your talents with the community, email Danielle at tvavail.com. Join the community conversation. There's more for you on 92.
Experience the beauty of fall on the rails of the Leadville Railroad. Take in the cool mountain breeze as you climb to 11,000 feet to watch the vibrant reds, oranges, and golds of fall come alive. Enjoy delicious hot beverages, learn some history, and relax with family and friends. Even your pets can enjoy a ride on the train. Offering daily trips, the weekend specials sell out fast. To secure your seat, book today at leadvillerailroad.com.
When you're in Vail, you're in vacation mode, and you need a flexible home tour experience that fits into your schedule. We've transformed how you view and buy homes in the Vail Valley. With immersive, cutting-edge technology, you can explore properties 10 times faster. In our lounge, we guide you through this digital world on a 16-foot screen where you can imagine your next home in comparison to your favorite recreational spots. Say goodbye to multi-day home tours and hello to a quick stop between your other plans. That's the power of the immersion theater.
For fun and adventure, join me on Elizabeth Stanton's Great Big World. Find out where I'll be going next and which celebrities I'll be bringing along with me. I'll show you amazing destinations with lots to explore, and you'll get to know my celebrity guests the way they really are, up close and personal. We'll travel the world, experience new cultures, and together, try to make a difference. I'm Elizabeth Stanton, saying the world's a big place, and I'm going to show it to you.
Coming up this season on Ready, Set, Renovate, real homeowners tackle really big renos.
Welcome to the ugliest house in the neighborhood.
It's a wild ride from before to after.
If we go to the tile store one more time, only one of us is coming out alive.
Well, I didn't know he was going to do all that.
Between the budget and the timeline, it's makeover madness.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Now, professionalism has really expanded from the traditional 9 to 5. We spoke with a family who is making their business becoming professional YouTubers and influencers. Let's have a look at this conversation.
Sometimes we're really lucky to chat with incredible families, and this one is just that. So I've got the Hollinsworth family joining me to give some information about Gracie's Corner. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Now, you guys are the creators of Gracie's Corner, so I'm going to have each one of you introduce yourself and what you do for Gracie's Corner.
I'm Javoris, also known as Dad. I'm the songwriter and writer, I guess executive producer for Gracie's Corner.
And I'm Grayson, and I'd say I'm the
voice.
She's the voice behind all things Gracie's Corner. And I'm Arlene, I'm mom. I'm one of the co-creator. I help with the ideas, and I guess I'm also the last stop to make sure that we're putting out quality stuff.
Which is so cool that you guys do this as a family. And so this YouTube's Impact Report is what we're talking about, and how Gracie's Corner has made its way through the charts on the YouTube channel, because you guys do such a good job and you produce such fun content, and especially if you have kiddos at home. And so according to this report, it's a great way for people to start making a living through YouTube. Has that been your experience so far?
Yes, that definitely has been an experience for us. When we started, I was a college professor teaching organic chemistry. My wife is a psychologist, and she was also teaching. But as the channel continued to grow, it became difficult to juggle that as well as YouTube. So, but the channel grew to a point where I was able to leave my job and do this full time. So it's definitely made a great impact.
I mean, what large careers you guys left to completely have a shift in career paths to something that's so important. Now, you spend a lot of time creating educational content. Why is it important for you to put that out into the world?
As parents, the reason we got started was because we were watching some of the content out there, and there was some good stuff out there, but we felt like there was a void. We felt like we wanted to see content where there was more representation, where our children could see themselves. And so it's been amazing to be able to create this quality content on YouTube, these fun, educational videos.
Now, as the superstar of the show and getting to be the voice and getting to sing these incredible songs that your dad writes for you, how do you feel, and what's your favorite part of being the star of the show?
that I have this wonderful family and that I get to record with my favorite dad, and it's just been great.
Now, as you guys created Gracie's Corner, what was really the inspiration behind kind of doing the first episode and then watching it grow throughout the years?
The inspiration, I mean, she was a big piece of the inspiration. The character itself was modeled after her, but we felt like, hey, let's take a different approach with this. Let's bring in some fun music that parents can actually vibe to and not want to pull their hair out after hearing it a few times. So that's pretty much been the whole mindset.
Which I think is so important, especially because some of those songs that kids do love get very repetitive, and you guys are doing such a great job of giving an outreach to not only the kids, but the parents too, because your show really helps, I mean, new parents kind of go through those learning curves that you see throughout raising a child. Now, if people are interested in maybe creating their own YouTube page, if you guys had a piece of advice to give them to get them kickstarted off the ground, what would it be?
I would say first, just have a really great idea that you're passionate about, that you're invested in, and go ahead and make that content. But you have to be persistent. You have to be consistent because it does take time. We ourselves didn't begin to really see growth in our YouTube channel until after year one. And so that's why the persistence is one of the most important things, as well as creating quality content.
Now, since you guys have been doing this channel for quite some time, did you see yourself growing at this rate and making it your full-time career?
No, I did not see that. And honestly, there's a lot I didn't see. Like recently, we were nominated for NAACP Image Award, and in our category, we were up against Disney and all of these big major production companies, and to be just this family-operated YouTube channel at that level, it's just been mind-blowing to see this whole thing and the feedback we've gotten from parents.
Now, if people want to find Gracie's Corner, they just go to YouTube and they type in Gracie's Corner and they can see all of the incredible episodes that you've made over the years, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And do you guys have any other social media platforms where people can check out Gracie's Corner?
Yes, you can find us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter.
I want to thank you guys so much for taking this time to chat with me, sharing all this great information, and what a cool aspect with your psychology degree to bring that in, so that way you can really help people better themselves as well. Thank you so much for all the hard work that you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure that you check out the Hollinsworth family on YouTube, and that way you can see Gracie's Corner and see all of the incredible things that they do, because they have made this a full-time career for themselves, and you can do that too. So the YouTube report is something that you're going to want to check out. The YouTube's impact report is something you're going to want to check out. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back from the break, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
Good morning, Vail.
Join us in exploring the everyday lives of community members here in the Vail Valley. Hear their inspiring stories of how they came here, their contributions to our community, and why they chose to call this place home. We want you to be one of our neighbors. If you would like to be featured or nominate someone to be featured, please send an email to danielle@tv8vail.com. We look forward to featuring your story right here on TV8.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Do you have an interesting hobby or skill you'd like to share for Vail Valley? We want to hear from you. We're looking for people to share their musical, artistic, culinary, woodworking, athletic, or technical talents on Good Morning Vail. If you'd like to share your talents with the community, email Danielle@tv8vail.com. Join the community conversation. There's more for you on 92.
When making money is the aim, these kids, they bring their game. There's a Biz Kids.
Can you dig it? Real businesses by real biz kids. Watch and learn tips on how to start your own business.
Biz Kids.
Right on.
You're watching K34QB, Vail, Colorado.
It's Wednesday, August 30th. We are at the top of the second hour of Good Morning Vail. I'm your host, Kimberly Pro. Today is Business Wednesday. We've got exciting things coming at you in this next hour. Coaches Terry Sidford and Rachel Tenenbaum will be speaking with us, and then we'll show you some exciting real estate. So stay tuned. Second hour starts now.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
When you're in Vail, you're in vacation mode, and you need a flexible home tour experience that fits into your schedule. We've transformed how you view and buy homes in the Vail Valley. With immersive, cutting-edge technology, you can explore properties 10 times faster. In our lounge, we guide you through this digital world on a 16-foot screen where you can imagine your next home in comparison to your favorite recreational spots. Say goodbye to multi-day home tours and hello to a quick stop between your other plans. That's the power of the immersion theater.
Do you have a big event that you're going to or some type of social thing that you might not have the right outfit for? Well, recently I had the chance to sit down with two individuals that can share some extraordinary tips on how to ensure that you feel comfortable for that event by wearing what you feel most comfortable in and become a star at the event. So please join us for the fashion episode.
Good morning, Vail.
And we are back. Now, local business is very important to us, and real estate is a huge market here in the Vail Valley. Kevin had a conversation with the Stockton Group about some amazing properties and real estate that they currently have available. Let's have a look at that conversation.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. It's always a pleasure to have Mr. Ty Stockton in the studio with the Stockton Group, with Compass, talking about some amazing properties here in the Valley. Now, in the world-class setting that we're in, Ty, when you hear breathtaking views, opulent amenities, luxurious design, and world-class location, you think of this huge, amazing ski resort that is set here in the mountains. But those describe some of these properties that you're showcasing with the Stockton Group.
Absolutely, and those are great words to use because we have a lot of amazing homes here. And today we're going to talk about 47 Wood Violet. And what I love is it's located in the gated community of Mountain Star. And a lot of people, viewers, this is why we come in, we want to talk about it, we want to educate people on that area, because it's on the opposite side of Beaver Creek. So you have these sweeping views, and you see, the Saguache Range and Grouse Mountain, and those are dramatic, and that is so much about Mountain Star. You drive through the gate, and as soon as you make that switchback, bam, there it is. And the homeowners up there, they love it because it's gated. They love because there's a lot of open space, and the lots on average are bigger. This is over 2.5 acres.
Wow.
Compared to, say, downtown Vail or Beaver Creek, you may, if you a decent sized lot there may be, a half an acre. So you have more space plus the open space. And this particular home, as we talked about before we went on the air, is it has been meticulously renovated in a contemporary style. And what I love about that is, we've had a lot of people that are seeking new homes, but as you know, over the last several years, there's been this trend towards more modern, contemporary, brighter, lighter, kind of airier feel, with, beautiful European oak floors and marble, and this house has it. So, I'd say in the last 2 or 3 years, we've sold a lot of homes in Mountain Star. And yet people say, I love Mountain Star, but it tends to have traditional homes. I'd like something that has, a more contemporary feel. And 47 Wood Violet has that. It also offers great space, 5 bedrooms, 7 baths, over 6,500 square feet, excuse me, and 3 car garage with a heated auto court. So, you could tell I could go on and on about this house.
Again, the
those views
are majestic. You just don't get those anywhere else. And that open floor plan, and like you said, contemporary, when you look at the video and you see even the bedrooms, the placement of the windows throughout this home allow that natural light to come in and just make everything pop.
Yeah, we always talk about nature and the outdoors here. Well, this house has large glass windows, so your art for your house in some cases is the view outside the window. You can sit there and you get caught up at staring out at that view. But the outdoor spaces here, they have this beautiful patio that's off the main level, off the kitchen and dining room area, and there's a nice large outdoor sitting area so you can sit there and you can gaze at that view. And as you know, the freeway runs through the Vail Valley, so some people that want no highway impact, Mountain Star is that neighborhood. Right. Hear me again. If you want to hear no freeway impact, Mountain Star does that, and it does it in such a private setting. Lots of beautiful aspens and mature pine trees, and you can sit there and just watch deer literally walk by your front yard. The birds are chirping. You're sipping on coffee. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready to move in. And with that larger lot size, it engages that privacy even more. And it's like you're on your own mountain oasis.
Yeah, and I just love that right out your front door, Mountain Star community did a wonderful thing. They preserved a lot of open space, as I mentioned earlier, within the community. So that's going to stay there. That's by design. And there's lots of great nature trails, so you can walk out your door and go for a long hike. In the wintertime, you can put on snowshoes or cross-country skis, and away you go, and you just have everything there if you want it. And they have a little gatehouse And if you choose to get social, they have little social events and homeowners get together, and it forms just a really amazing community. And the Payson Mountain Star is designed for people that, you know, want to be in their house and they want to hang around there, and they're not interested in necessarily being on top of everything all the time. And they're great gathering houses for families, you know, and this is one of those.
And as you pointed out, the gate, the thing that you can't describe in words is the feeling. When you drive through that gate, just going up into that area, it's so relaxing, so serene. It is just the perfect setting here in the mountains.
Yeah, and you are no more than 10 minutes from Beaver Creek and 20 minutes to Vail. So you don't have to compromise your skiing or access if you want to go to a nice restaurant in Vail or Beaver Creek. It's just moments away, and by the way, the drive to and from is not punishment.
No, it's not rough at all.
It's not punishment. No, it's terrific. You know, it's been fun to. This was one of those houses when the owners called me and said, you know, we're thinking about selling our house. I got excited because I've been waiting for that contemporary style home, so I could showcase it to all your viewers and talk about it, because sometimes I have to say, I don't really have anything like that right now, and I know that's what you're looking for.
Every time you come on the show, I go, you know what, the next time you and I meet, there's no way he's going to outdo the home that we just saw, and then you do it again. And it's like, what an honor for you and your team to be able to have these homes and transition them to a new owner.
And I do want to say, and thank you for that, I do want to say the last time I was on your show a little over a week ago, we showcased 2 homes. One of those homes I talked about, and it's under contract.
Wow.
You know, your viewers see that, and they're here watching. They want to hear about real estate instead of seeing those little, you know, small classified ads in the paper or whatever, or looking at a home on their phone. But, you know, we have a website that you can, you know, go in more detail to see this home. And I just absolutely love the opportunity to schedule and provide a private tour of this home or any of the other homes in the valley.
It's what's really nice is in the community, people ask me, oh my gosh, I saw this beautiful home by the Stockton Group. And I go, you know, you can't say you're purchasing a home from the Stockton Group. You're investing in your lifestyle. And that's what this is.
It is. The lifestyle drives everything we do in the valley. Why would you buy a home if you haven't really been captivated by the lifestyle? And we offer so much. I was at the Jazz Festival at the Solaris Plaza last night, and it was so fun. There was people, kids were dancing, and you know, people way into the music, and that's after a long day of whether you've golfed or hiked or Jeep toured or whitewater rafted or whatever you've done. You know, I love it. People say, I sleep so well here because they're gassed. I mean, and then we put them in those beautiful houses, and we just make magic. And, you know, the homes are built by great builders, and the Vail Valley does such a great job of offering so many wonderful things, from, you know, a 2-year-old to, you know, a 98-year-old. That's what I love, is you see, you know, sometimes 4 generations of families here all spending time together. That is cool. That's really cool.
And you talk about time. I mean, people are so busy when they're here in the valley, but what you've done is you've created the immersion theater. So take away the days of driving around from place to place. Let's talk about the immersion theater, how that came about, and how that benefits someone looking for a property here in Vail.
Yeah, in short terms, the immersion theater is located in my office in the Solaris on the 2nd floor, and we literally created a theater-like atmosphere, and I created something that I envisioned. I created a digital twin, so we showcase the whole Vail Valley. And in the most traditional sense, what we call a discovery tour is when somebody calls and says, I'm interested in buying a house, right? And they don't necessarily know where or what style or what they're looking for. And we spend, on average, 6 or 8 hours going through, driving around the valley and looking at houses, only to eliminate the vast majority of those. So with the immersion theater, you could see it up on the screen now, what we do is we bring people in, and we have a very comfortable setting. So we have every flavor of coffee ever known to man. You know, we have waters and drinks. We believe people should have a glass of champagne or wine while they're looking at houses, and they sit there in the comfort of our immersion theater, and we showcase that. We bring food in from Sweet Basil or Matsuhisa for them, and we do what's called our Immersion Theater Guarantee. And we believe we're the only ones anywhere that can guarantee that we'll show you 100% of all the inventory exactly when you want to see it. And we go through that process, and we get to a short list, which is going to be that maybe 1 or 2 houses that you're really interested in.
Right.
And then we go see those. So we do that whole tour in less than 45 minutes. In the comfort of our office. There's no logistical snafus that happen because we're not calling and changing times. And people go, wow, this is really relaxing and it's nice. It's almost like I'm watching, the new latest movie that's out,
Right. Yeah.
and that's the way it should be. And what I like to say is we give people back their most valuable asset, which is time. In
Right.
some cases we've done it where we've given somebody a full day back because we didn't have to do that tour. That's a full day of vacation.
Right.
That you
The
can't ever
value,
get
you
back.
can't put a value on that. So, what you've done, such an intuitive approach to real estate and getting people to that next phase of their lifestyle. So Ty, thank you again for coming in, showcasing another beautiful property. If you or anybody you know out there is interested in a new property, don't forget the Stockton Group. The Stockton Group, Vail.com is the website. Get a hold of Ty and his team, and they will take you on an extravagant tour of Vail, the surrounding area, and find that perfect home that matches that lifestyle. We'll be back soon with more Good Morning Vail.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Nap Harvest, your local marketplace for fresh, locally produced products. Our indoor farmers market is open 7 days a week, featuring locally grown organic produce, prepared meals, honey from our Nap Nectar hive, furniture, cutting boards, and much more. We source and sell locally grown and produced products from the Vail and Roaring Fork Valleys. Visit us at our new location in Eagle Ranch, 717 Sylvan Lake Road, next door to Color Coffee Roasters.
Familia, estamos muy emocionados de por fin presentarles nuestro nuevo programa completamente en español, Conexión Latina, que se estrena este lunes 21 de agosto a partir de las 7 de la tarde. Por el momento, el programa se transmitirá los lunes, miércoles y viernes de 7 a 7 y media de la tarde, con una repetición de 7 y media a 8, así que no hay excusas para perdértelo. Te recuerdo que puedes sintonizar nuestra programación a través del canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página web tvavail.com y nuestra página de Facebook TVA Conexión Latina. Acompáñanos en esta nueva aventura llena de información y entretenimiento local. No te lo pierdas.
Hello, everyone. I'm Raisa Pascal.
And I'm Andrea Jackson. Welcome to Life, Love, Shopping. Have any personal stories you can share?
Do I? Yes, I do. So even though you work for...
Some good deals, too good to miss on flash deals. Now check this out.
Studies show spending time outdoors can help with depression, lowering blood pressure, and overall health and happiness.
Spooky and Scott Show. We are feeling good today. Great show on the way.
Absolutely. Welcome to our show. I'm Suki.
I'm Scott.
And we are feeling good today. You know why? Because we had a great show.
When you're in Vail, you're in vacation mode, and you need a flexible home tour experience that fits into your schedule. We've transformed how you view and buy homes in the Vail Valley. With immersive, cutting-edge technology, you can explore properties 10 times faster. In our lounge, we guide you through this digital world on a 16-foot screen where you can imagine your next home in comparison to your favorite recreational spots. Say goodbye to multi-day home tours and hello to a quick stop between your other plans. That's the power of the Immersion Theater.
Good morning, Vail.
Now, having a professional coach or a mentor is so important, not just from a professional perspective, but how do we view the world mentally and intellectually? Joining us today for a conversation is Rachel Tenenbaum, who is a neurotransformational coach. Let's have a look at what that entails.
Hi, I'm Rachel Tenenbaum, and I am a neurotransformational coach. That's a mouthful, I know. Effectively, what that means is that I help people understand and tinker with their brains so that they can get more of the results and the meaningful change that they want out of their lives and out of their leadership. Have you ever been so stressed that it was overwhelming, that it riddled your body? I've had that moment. I was living in New York. I was working exhaustive hours. I prided myself on being able to handle more than most, overseeing and managing many diverse aspects of the business, but I was overwhelmed and I felt undersupported. I was traveling almost every week, sometimes multiple times a week, and I was holding on by a thread. But I was holding on. And then, in the course of 1 week, I broke up with my best friend, the man that I was going to marry, and it was heartbreaking. I had to say goodbye to the very entrenched future that we had envisioned, and to my rock, my support. That was a lot on that already thin thread. And then, in that same week, not even 2 days later, my mother called. My grandmother's cancer had returned, and they needed to operate immediately. But in her condition and in her age, they didn't know if she would survive. And the next day, my father called. He had prostate cancer, and it had riddled his body. Within days, I was so stressed I was throwing up bile and foam, and I couldn't even see out of one eye. I was rushed to the hospital, and doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong, so eventually they told me it must be stress. And you would think that that would have been the moment, that would have been the moment that had me shift everything. But in many ways, I went back to my old ways, but it did plant some really critical seeds. I began to look at how I was living my life, what was running in my life, my choices, the drivers, how I was managing stress. And over the course of the following months and the following years, I took courses. I dug into trainings, I read books, and I realized with time something essential, down to my bones, and it's like I woke up. I realized that while we do not always have the ability to change circumstances, and while we do not always have control over what happens, we do have control over how we respond to it. We do have control over how we experience it. And it is courageous and also one of the most difficult things for us to do as human beings. And when we do, when we truly begin to take ownership over our lives and our experiences, the floodgates to our potential, the floodgates to the ways in which we get to experience and live our lives open up. There's this wild misperception that stress is a bad thing. Stress can actually be an extraordinarily good thing. And when we have too much stress, when we don't know how to manage our stress, when stress overwhelms and overtakes us and we don't have the tools to short circuit the flow of chemicals in our brain, our body, that's when we get overwhelmed. That's when we break. That's when we burn out. And right now, across the country, across the globe, people are burning out minute after minute after minute. And so one of the most essential things that we can begin to understand is not only the correlation between stress and our well-being and how we actually do need stress, but how when we get from that it's called Goldilocks, that Goldilocks sweet spot of just right into the too much, how do we get ourselves from that too much back to that just right? Or how do we begin to notice that we're stepping over the line of that just right into too much? Because the more and more that we get to know ourselves, the more and more that we get to know our personal poker tells, which help us know when we're getting from just right to too much, the more that we can short circuit and mitigate that overflow of chemicals so that we're not overwhelmed. Because when we have too much stress, we can't think clearly, we can't see completely, it narrows our scope of vision, It narrows what we're able to hear. And so we're taking in less data, less information, and then we're acting on a very narrow snippet of data and information, which doesn't support us. It doesn't support us in our relationships. It does not support us in our careers and our leadership. I have a client who, I think at the end of the day, a big part of what I help people do is live more in alignment with who they are and their greater goals, right? And I have a client who, exceptional human being, but when we started our work together, you might be able to relate, had many successes, but didn't truly believe and own his potential. Right. And so constantly, this is an executive, constantly did not believe in his own potential. And he was chasing after a C-suite position of major global companies because he wanted to prove, not just to himself, but to his deceased father, oof, and to a deceased boss, oof, just how successful he could be. And imagine building your life, and so many of us do this, trying to prove to somebody who no longer even exists on this realm what our potential is. And so when we took a step back and we actually looked at what he wanted for his life and what he wanted to create, he realized that he wanted to really spend time with this new family that he was creating. He was getting married for the second time, having a second child. He was creating a new family. He wanted to spend more time with the daughter that he already had. She was already in her late teens, and that mattered to him. So when he got offered the COO position of a major global company, he opted for a great executive position at another company because it would enable him to live in a way that was aligned for him. Because when you do that, it actually increases productivity, it increases well-being, it supports the whole. There's a wonderful Buddhist saying that you can't stop the first arrow, the things that happen in life, but you can stop the second. That second arrow is how we feel about those moments. It's how much we ruminate over those moments. And for me, it's not just the second arrow, it's the 200th and the 2000th arrow. Because oftentimes we'll take that arrow out and then we'll just have fun stabbing ourselves with it. Continuing to think about the things that happened in the past, continuing to think about how it's going to influence the future, continuing to think about how that defines who we are and the future to come. And that pain, that we cause ourselves. Because that moment's past. It is over. And at any moment, with a single breath, we can reset, we can begin again. We do not need to carry those arrows with us into this moment, the next moment, and the future moment. And so one of the greatest things that we can realize is to stop and pause and to realize, okay, something happened. And how much are we living it and reliving it? Because the brain doesn't know the difference between perceived reality, what we create in our minds, and actual reality. And so in those moments, with that second arrow and that 2000th arrow, we are living it again and again and again as if it were happening in that moment, as if it were real. It's multifaceted. First and foremost, it's really providing tools so that people can start to become more self-aware. Because for me, it's about empowering people to be able to do this on their own, right? So they can navigate, they can become more self-aware, they can be more conscious of their triggers, and then we get to start to look at it, right? And I'm really good at not just listening to what's said, but listening to what's not being said and to hearing various levels and then holding up a mirror. I also say I often shine a flashlight into areas that people don't want to look or where they're not even conscious, that they're not conscious that those corners exist. And I just shine a flashlight and say, hey, like, is it worth looking here from what I've noticed? And that enables people, it gives people a greater vision and a greater scope and a greater ability to look at where they are and then chart that right path forward. But also look at what's the hindrance, what's getting in their way between where they are now and where they want to be. And a lot of that often tends to be reactivity or self-debilitating thoughts or fears. And so when we can start to peel those away and actually move beyond them, anything's possible. I've worked with Fortune 100 companies to small and mighty companies. And so when I work with an organization, I don't have a cookie cutter approach. I have a lot of tools, I have a lot of tips, a lot of tricks, a lot of information that once leveraged can be transformative and will be transformative. And it also depends upon where you're at, what the budget is. And so whenever an organization comes to me and says, okay, great, we need support around leadership development, or we need support around stress navigation, we sit down, we look at where you're at, where you want to be, and how much you are able and willing to invest in that. I can be reached at my email, which is Rachel, Rachel, at iamliving.us. And then I believe there's also a QR code that's going to come up on the screen. And with that, there's 3 options. You can book a one-on-one leadership call with me. They'll be able to book a corporate call with me to discuss how I can bring some of these trainings and tools into your organization. And you can also just sign up for the newsletter. And then I do a lot of free events or low-cost events that are available to everybody. And in the newsletter, I always try to share nuggets of information, tips, tools, and tricks. So 3 different links to get whatever it is that will support you the most.
Good morning, Vail.
For fun and adventure, join me on Elizabeth Stanton's Great Big World. Find out where I'll be going next and which celebrities I'll be bringing along with me. I'll show you amazing destinations with lots to explore, and you'll get to know my celebrity guests the way they really are, up close and personal. We'll travel the world, experience new cultures, and together, try to make a difference. I'm Elizabeth Stanton, saying the world's a big place, and I'm going to show it to you.
Hi there. Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman. Featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. Our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to The Neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
And welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Now we have an excellent conversation with author and life coach Terry Sidford. Let's have a look at that discussion.
A woman who wears many hats just released an incredible book to help you find your true meaning of happiness, and that's Terry Sidford. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here because when I say many hats, speaker, author, podcast host, and a life coach, there's nothing that you don't do to help people really find their true enlightenment in this life.
Thank you. Wow, that's quite the introduction. I think that's been my life purpose, and I think I'm very lucky to have found that in my life. And to help other people is really what fulfills me. And I can relate to a lot of people because of what I've been through in my life. And my new book is my memoir. It tells every story about my life and how I had to overcome adversity to be strong. And that's why I can relate to most people. And I've been given a gift of learning from those lessons. And I turn trials into triumph. And I'm very proud of that in my life. And I want everyone to know that no matter what they've gone through in their life, that they can start over and that they can have a fulfilling life and a successful life. Just learn and grow from every experience. So that's really kind of the basis of it, with 3 concepts of truth, courage, love.
I was just going to say, so Truth, Courage, Love is your second book, but your first memoir. And I have so many questions only because what you did in this book is so inspiring. So what originally inspired you to write Truth, Courage, Love?
Well, I've been asked that one a lot. And really, it's because I had a really big birthday last year, and it kind of made me think about my life and how did I do so far? Is there still some lessons I need to learn? Am I at peace with everything? Am I proud? Have I left anything on the table? Is there anything else I need to do? And I sat there for a moment thinking, wow, I've had an interesting life, yet I am so proud of where I'm at and what I've learned. And now having a rough start, having a great ending to my 60 years. Yes.
You look amazing for being 60. No one would know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And it's even hard to say, but I'm proud. And now I want to give back. I really want people to know that no matter what happens, no matter what age you are, you can start again. Just learn, grow, and fulfill your potential at any time of your life. You can start over today in any moment. That's what I hope when you read my book, that you'll learn that, wow, she went through those things and she still was able to do the things that she's dreamed of doing or never even thought of doing in her life. And I really have a tremendous humbling appreciation.
Which is such an important message for so many people to have, no matter your age, no matter what you've been through, like you said, just to have that little bit of encouragement from someone like you is so empowering. And so let's talk a little bit about what the writing process was like.
Ooh, thank you. Interesting enough, which you'll read in my book, I was very, very insecure growing up from my childhood experiences, and I did not have any confidence. In fact, I remember going home and having to practice writing. I was very, I didn't do well in English or with my grammar. And someone asked me about my experience with coaching a lot of women and how strong they were. And I said, I know, they're so strong and they don't see it in themselves. And she said, well, why didn't you write a book? I looked at her like she was from, outer space. Like, no, I can't write a book. This is not me. And she said, Terry, I'm going to help you. So what I have learned in now my second book is that if you have a story or a message, you can get it out there and there's people that can help you. I just got this story out. I did a lot of writing, and then I had someone help me with the grammar and making sure it's edited. And it's a beautiful process. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I know most people do have a story to tell. We all do. And so if I can write the book, which was hard. I mean, it's a lot of work. You have to be dedicated to it. But it's so worth it. So worth it.
Well, and it's so incredible for you to share your story now as you were writing this book, because it is talking about some hardship and it is giving that most vulnerable side to you. When you were writing it, did you have any moments of shock about how open you were being with the readers?
Yes, yes, yes. Many, many times I thought, why on earth would I be telling this story? Or will people understand it? Or will someone be upset with this story? I mean, it's kind of the whole gambit. And I asked myself, well, it wouldn't be being truthful and honest if I didn't tell all the stories. And it's really what happened, and that's okay. And isn't it empowering to know that we can tell our stories and be okay with that? And we should be okay with that. And yes, so there's stories that were really difficult to tell, but I wanted to be transparent. I wanted to be honest, and I'm proud of that.
And your vulnerability is going to give so many other people strength. Just in having that kind of moment of comparison and that moment of truth that maybe you're going to help other people live, I think is so empowering. And so congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being so wonderful to share all of this information with others.
Oh, you're welcome. It's really an honor for me. And I would just want to help everyone know that, you don't have to be defined by your past. You really don't. And you can turn trials into triumph. Just learn, grow, ask people for help. And you can still live the life of your dreams and your potential. That's the message I want everyone to know.
Which I think is such a wonderful message. Now, if people are interested, obviously, in reading your first book and your second book, where can they buy them?
On Amazon. You can just go to Amazon. You can either type in Terry Sidford, and that's Terry Sidford, and the title of my books, and they'll pop up. 100 Hearts spelled out, 100 Hearts, and Truth, Courage, Love.
Truth, Courage, Love sounds like the perfect book for maybe anyone going through some hardship. Now, you also have a great podcast, really giving people those extra stories for courage to find their inner strength, and you really focus a lot on helping people find their true happiness. So let's talk a little bit about your podcast.
Well, I also started a group called Choose Courage Movement because I've started out kind of an expert with courage, and I wanted to share with the audience, or as many people as I can, these stories of courage. Because I think the more that we hear stories of courage through my podcast, and I try to have very interesting guests, is that the more we see it in ourselves. And the more that we see it in ourselves, the more courageous we become in a daily life. And so that's my whole goal. And it is so fun to find these amazing people and their amazing stories. So if there's anyone out there that feels like they do have an amazing story, I would love for you to contact me on that. I would love to interview on my podcast.
Which I think is so cool that you are giving people not only the platform to share their moments of maybe feeling their most courageous, but you're also giving people just that little bit of comfort, knowing that there are people going through similar things and enduring similar things. Now, you're also a life coach. So if people are interested in maybe just having the opportunity to talk with you and listen to your story a little bit more personally and have you give them those words of wisdom that you so generously shared in your book, how can they do so?
They can contact me on my website, which is Terry, Terry, Sidford, SIDFORD.com, terrysidford.com, and just reach out to me and we can have a consultation to see if coaching is right for you. I'm here to just help anyone take things to the next level if they feel like there's something that's in the way. And it's a fun and exciting process. It's like having your cheerleader right next to you.
Which I think everyone needs. My mom always says that to me. She's like, just rally your inner cheerleader, Maddie, and you'll be fine. You'll get through it. And so I love to hear that, and I really love what you do. I think that having people like you in our community, in our lives, and just out there to spread the positivity and really just that like driving force forward to help people find their best selves is so powerful.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It really feels like a dream for me to be able to do what I feel like is my life purpose. And that's what I like to help other people find in their life. Because once you're doing what you love and what really lights you up and inspires you, then it's contagious. It's just like that ripple effect. It will affect everyone around you. So it's really why we should all live our potential and our purpose in life.
You are a beautiful force to be reckoned with. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy that I could have this time with you today.
We're really happy to have you, and we really do appreciate all the hard work that you do.
Thank you.
Make sure that you go on Amazon and you buy her book, and that way maybe you can share your stories as well, because it's a therapeutic way to find your inner courage. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back from the break, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
Good morning, Vail.
Suki and Scott show. We are feeling good today. Great show on the way.
Absolutely. Welcome to our show. I'm Suki.
I'm Scott.
And we are feeling good today. You know why? Because we had a great show.
TV8 Vail is serving the community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Stop by for Good Morning Vail at 7 a.m. and stay all day for lifestyle favorites such as Good Day Vail, Daily Flash, Suki and Scott, and more. And you're sure to find the adventure you crave with back-to-back episodes of Scoreboard Nation and Outdoor America. Find us all day, every day on Comcast Xfinity Channel 92, on TV8Vail.com, and on all our social media platforms. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Here at Sun and Ski Sports, we are all about having the best summer adventures. Our full-service bike shop is here to help you get back on the saddle with services ranging from simple tire changes, full bike overhauls, and rentals. If trail running, hiking, or trips to the lake are your thing, our expert staff will fit you in the best performing footwear or clothing. And don't forget about a relaxing day on the water with our stand-up paddleboard rentals. Call Sun and Ski Sports in Avon or Dillon today, or learn more at sunandski.com/CO.
Join us in exploring the everyday lives of community members here in the Vail Valley. Hear their inspiring stories of how they came here, their contributions to our community, and why they chose to call this place home. We want you to be one of our neighbors. If you would like to be featured or nominate someone to be featured, please send an email to Danielle@tv8vail.com. We look forward to featuring your story right here on TV8.
Do you love the outdoor lifestyle? Make sure you tune in every day at 8 p.m. to catch Scoreboard Nation. It's an outdoor lifestyle show dedicated to your 3 favorite mountain towns, Vail Beaver Creek, Park City, and Reno Tahoe. Join us for an incredible venture. Find us on TV8 Vail, Park City Television, or at thescoreboardnation.com. We can't wait to see you there.
Good morning, Vail.
Now, I love my weekly chats with the Eagle Valley Library District ladies and everything that they have to offer. But we took a trip over to their location to see all of the books that they have to offer. Let's take a look at that visit.
When we think libraries, we only think books, but that is not the case here at the Eagle Valley Library District, as they are the emporium of possibilities. And oh man, do we have possibilities behind us. And we've got Tegan Davis to walk us through all of the fun things. Yeah. Tegan, thank you so much for meeting us.
Oh, thanks for coming and exploring with us. We appreciate that.
Exploring is the perfect word, especially because everything that's around us, you can take on an adventure.
You can, and hopefully adventures will be had with these. So that's what we wanted to supply. We have an outdoors community, so we wanted to have some materials to get people outside and enjoy their hobbies.
And so starting kind of on the far end, we've got some nice trekking poles. If you just need that little bit of support, you don't want to buy them, maybe you just need them for one solid 14er.
Right.
This is the place to come.
Or you want to test them out before you commit, or you have some guests or family coming in, and this is a good way to get them on the hill, and it does reduce the impact on your knees especially. So I highly recommend trekking poles.
And it's so nice. All you have to do is get a library card and you can come in and take any of the fun stuff that we're going to talk about. Okay, so next.
Okay, adventure pack. So you got your children, your family, you're out in Sylvan Lake, there's bugs, you can collect them, you can look at them, you can work on your orientation skills. We've got all sorts of goodies in here, and this bag is actually curated by Walking Mountains, and then we partnered with them they curated the bag, and then we check it out so that you can get some nature education as you're out and about with your family. There's all sorts of fun things. This one's my favorite, cup the bug, and then you can really look at it. So magnifying glass, there's just all sorts of fun, amazing things in this pack.
Are you bold enough to just cup the bug? I would have to do it on the ground.
Most likely on the ground.
Yeah.
I had one when I was little, and I got a bee, and I was very afraid to let go of the bee.
Right, you were like, it's going to be angry when it comes.
And then new to the collection of our library things, we have disc golf. So there are courses within the valley, and so if you're new to the sport and you want to try it, we have the disc for you. Give it a whirl, have a good time outside, and then we also have bocce ball. So if you got some bunch of friends, again, if you don't want to commit, you just want to try it, we have a set for you to check out at the library.
Or if you're just doing like a weekend barbecue and you just need that little bit of yard entertainment, this is the place to come because you guys have everything.
We're working on it, and so this is part of Library of Things, and so we are in collection of things for people to check out.
All right, we're just going to keep going because there's so many objects around me, I feel like we have to get through them all.
Good. So what you're holding right now is a solar powered light that you can use camping, and you can hook up your phone and it will charge it for you so that you can be out and about on the mountains and not worry about your phone dying.
Or the battery pack dying because it's solar. Amazing. We love when things are good for the environment.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to grab this lovely red bag and bring it right over here for you to talk all about.
Okay, so this was a partnership with Colorado Parks and Wildlife, and this is the State Park Pass. There's 42 state parks that you can travel to. You can come to the library, check out a state park pass for 7 days, and visit the park for free. In the bag, of course, includes some, some guidebooks, flora, fauna, so you know what you're looking at. But yeah, it's a great thing to take along and explore Colorado with.
The adventure pack and
pairs nicely.
So nicely, because then you can be looking at flora, fauna under the little cupping microscope and really just get your education on.
Get immersed into our wildlife and into our atmosphere of Colorado.
And then maybe you're missing some camping gear. As summer approaches, you're like, oh man, we're 2 chairs short for this camping trip.
Or you have someone tagging along that you weren't expecting. We do have camping chairs. So you can check out a camping chair, or if you want to go and you want to see the live concerts here in Avon and you forgot all your gear and you didn't schlep it over, come to the library with your library card and you can check out some stuff.
It's so easy, and I think people don't understand the possibilities that come from being a card holder at the library here with the Eagle Valley Library District. You guys not only have so many opportunities for great products to check out, but you also have so many great programs people can participate in as well.
We do, and so this summer we have our summer learning program for all ages, so you can win prizes for reading. So we're trying to make it fun all summer long, as well as free programs for kids all the way up to adults. So kids, teens, adults, stop on by, get your reading log, earn prizes for reading, and have a good time this summer at the libraries.
And then let's just talk about the process of getting a library card, because I just got mine and it took all of 5 minutes.
You just need to come in with photo ID. It can be your driver's license, it could be your ski pass, your gym pass, anything with your picture on, and you will walk out the door with a library card. We try to make it so simple.
It's that simple for people to have access to all of these great items and all of these things that you may want to have throughout the summer.
Exactly, for free. So come on in, get your library card, and you can check all this out for free and have a good time.
Tegan, thank you so much for taking the time and walking us through all of the possibilities here at the library. It always blows my mind what you guys have to offer.
Well, thank you for coming in and exploring with me.
We're going to take a short break. I'm going to take this adventure pack. We're going to go look at some bugs, and then we'll come back with more of the show.
Good morning, Vail.
Nap Harvest, your local marketplace for fresh, locally produced products. Our indoor farmers market is open 7 days a week, featuring locally grown organic produce, prepared meals, honey from our Nap Nectar hive, furniture, cutting boards, and much more. We source and sell locally grown and produced products from the Vail and Roaring Fork valleys. Visit us at our new location in Eagle Ranch, 717 Sylvan Lake Road, next door to Color Coffee Roasters.
Familia, estamos muy emocionados de por fin presentarles nuestro nuevo programa completamente en español, Conexión Latina, que se estrena este lunes 21 de agosto a partir de las 7 de la tarde. Por el momento, el programa se transmitirá los lunes, miércoles y viernes de 7 a 7 y media de la tarde, con una repetición de 7 y media a 8, así que no hay excusas para perdértelo. Te recuerdo que puedes sintonizar nuestra programación a través del canal 92 de Comcast, nuestra página web tvavail.com y nuestra página de Facebook TVA Conexión Latina. Acompáñanos en esta nueva aventura llena de información y entretenimiento local. No te lo pierdas.
I'm Andrea Jackson. Welcome to Life, Love, Shopping. Have any personal stories you can share?
Do I? Yes, I do.
So even though you work with some good deals, too good to miss on flash deals now, check this out.
Studies show spending time outdoors can help with depression, lowering blood pressure, and overall health and happiness.
Dookie and Scott Show, we are feeling good today. Great show on the way.
Absolutely. And welcome to our show. I'm Suki.
Hi, Scott.
And we are feeling good today. You know why? Because we had a great show.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to the close of our Good Morning Vail Wednesday edition, August 30th. Hard to believe it is the final Wednesday of the month of August. What a summer it has been. We had an exciting show on this Business Wednesday. Bill Humbert joined us with his weekly tips and tricks and how to view the recruiting process. Emily Gross gave us excellent ideas about our LinkedIn profiles as well as resume updates. We had coaches Rachel Tenenbaum and Terry Sidford here as well, just to have a well-rounded approach to increasing your professional and personal capacity. And then, as always, we love the Stockton Group and all of the gorgeous real estate that they have available. Eagle Valley Library District showed us a great tour of all the things they had to offer, so it was quite the exciting show. Stay tuned. We've got a wonderful Good Morning Vail tomorrow, Thursday, August 31st. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
When you're